exhibition in Venice. Today we're going to present the winners of the ECC Awards and the special mentions within each section of the exhibition: art, architecture, university projects, and design innovation. The ECC Awards are given by the ECC team members to selected participants in our exhibition who responded to our call with outstanding creativity, imagination, courage, and dedication. We want this event to be a moment of reflection on what has been done this year, and an occasion to thank again everyone who contributed to make this exhibition possible in this exceptional year: the ECC team, ECC partners, and the over 200 participants coming from more than 50 different countries. We are very proud of the results achieved by this edition. We are not ready to communicate the final numbers yet, but we can say that despite the pandemic and the travel restriction in place in some countries of the world, the exhibition attracted a large number of visitors. During the 6 months, approximately 300,000 visitors saw our exhibition. It's an amazing result. As you may already know, over the last months, we organized also a series of events and activities to continue the debate of the topics in our exhibition. And the program was really intense. We organized meetings, workshops, talks, conferences, roundtables, symposia, and created specific events for sponsors and partners. In total, we presented 63 in-person events and 20 events online. But before presenting the ECC Awards, we are really glad to present a special project for the photography section in our exhibition that is curated by my colleagues Elena Pato, Bernice Freitag, who is not with us today, unfortunately, and Suzanne van der Borg. We will start a conversation with the photographer Peter Stitt, and it will follow a presentation of the photography book titled Narrative Dimension. So it's a pleasure to give the stage to my colleague Elena, Suzanne, Caterina, and Miguel. Please come to the stage. Computer.
Okay. So before presenting our project, on behalf of the entire ECC team and the photography section, I would love to welcome Peter Stitt, who is there, here on the stage. So Peter is a photographer presenting his work here at the Time Space Existence exhibition. You have still a few hours to see the presentation. He's an American photographer, and he's here to present the first, if I'm not mistaken, monograph regarding your work, which is a Southern Verse. And so I think you can speak better than me regarding your work. So
I hope so.
So please, if the team wants to sit, maybe we can just stay here, and then we can continue the conversation concerning the editorial project.
Should I sit or stand?
As you wish.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna click through. Well.
They are working.
Ah. Okay. Well, sure. I just want to say thank you to everybody for having me. And I'll try and keep this within time, because when I get nervous, I either go really long or really short. The last crowd I spoke in front of was a group of preteens at a photography camp, so this is a much more mature audience for me. My book, A Southern Verse, started really as a project for me to get back out and start doing my art again. I had operated a gallery for about 3 years, and it was all emerging artists, and it was lots of fun, but it was strictly a passion of the heart because it didn't make a whole lot of money. But I got sick of showing everybody else's work and not showing my own, and I wanted to get back to doing what was in my heart, and I was looking for something that kind of motivated me, and it ended up being a love for the area that I'm from in the southeastern part of the United States. And really, we've seen a lot of growth in the metropolitan areas, in places like Atlanta, Charlotte, North Carolina. All these places are growing. They're metropolitan areas, but a lot of the smaller towns have been very similar and very much the same as they were when I was a kid driving through them, when we would go on vacations, when I would go fishing with my grandfather. All the towns kind of look the same. So most everything that's in this book comes within about an hour and a half drive of where I live. So the process became just me getting in my car early in the morning and picking a place, doing a little bit of research, but just finding towns, and over time kind of developed a concept that I started following where most of the towns had probably no more than 2,000 to 3,000 people. They're small agricultural communities. A lot of them were connected by trains that, our rail system is practically defunct. So a lot of these towns saw their main mode of an economy just kind of drop out, and they've tried to progress and they've tried to stick with the times, but again, sometimes it's hard for them to keep up. And it's like every time they make a step forward, it seems like the rest of the world takes two. But it is a little bit nostalgic for me. And really it just, it was one of those things that became organic as I was putting the project together. And I'm sorry, I have to refer to my note cards because I don't normally title photographs, and for the book, they were really adamant that I don't put untitled. So I will be precise and talk about each image accordingly. Okay, there we go. I do want to talk about the cover of the book, because originally I thought that having a photograph on the cover of the book would be the best way to get people interested. But as time went on, having a cover that was just the name of the book, to me was, in a way, slightly anonymous for the photographs, and kind of would give you the opportunity to let your own curiosity give you a reason to pick up the book. I didn't want somebody to look at it and see an image and just be like, oh, I'm not interested in that, and pass it. I'd rather you be curious. I'd rather you feel the same way that I am about everything that I photograph. But the color of it also, it doesn't translate very well here, but afterwards, if you want to take a look at the actual book, is very much like the colors of the earth and the colors of the areas that are around all of these towns in the South. The color of the text and the inside, I can't remember the technical term, but the paper on the inside kind of represents the dark hue of the dirt in that area, which was really important to me. So I will move on to the images now. I narrowed it down to about 8 images. I just kind of want to talk about and give you an idea of what motivated me and a little bit about each image. And do I need to hit it twice? I've hit it twice. Yeah, I've hit it twice.
The file is like crashed, so the only image is visible is the first image.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. Well,
Here you go.
let's try it this way. I believe I have everything in order. I do know the first image is the very first image in the book. I don't know who I just got in front of. I will kind of hold this up. This is a billboard, is the title, of Barnwell, South Carolina. It was originally an image that I didn't think I would even get to photograph, because as I said, I drive into all of these places, and this was on the outskirts of Barnwell. But what I like about it, and how it to me is a good introduction, is it's very much like a welcome sign that could be for any of these towns. The rust that seems to be on it, it's hard to see in this small image, but there's faded text. There's stuff that was there that's no longer there, and yet in the background, there's businesses that are operating. So many of these towns are, in a way, like that. I got fortunate. It was a very sunny day when I came into town. The light was completely wrong on it, and by the time I was in Barnwell for about 10 minutes, it began to rain. Clouds rolled in, and on my way out, it was still cloudy, and was able to get, there it went, there it is, yay! That's what it looks like. And if you read the introduction,
You had this one.
well, if you read the introduction, something I noticed about this image the other day, Matt Porter, who wrote the introduction, mentioned how it seems like you're riding shotgun with me in my car. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the term, but riding in my passenger seat. And it ended up that my car ended up in the image in the background, and I normally try not to do that, but if you read the introduction and you hear about my Mini Cooper, that was my old car. It died about this time last year. Okay, let's see. Will it work now? Do we know? I'll assume it's not. The next image that I wanted to talk about is entitled V.E. Edwards and Brothers, and it is in Johnston, South Carolina. Johnston's an interesting town because it actually, the economy seems to be doing all right. The local area does a lot of peach farming. In fact, South Carolina produces more peaches than any state except California. So that's really our big thing in the area is you want to get fresh peaches in July. They're amazing. But this is the image. And this is one that really kind of helped solidify this project. There's a crepe myrtle right here that's dead center. And, you know, V.E. Edwards and Brothers, it's still an operating company. And my understanding is it's still in this building, but they have no storefront anymore. All the letters have been taken down. What you see up here is actually just where the sun had faded around the letters that were originally there. There's plastic in the doors. But the interesting thing is that this crepe myrtle is no more than 2 years old. The mulch around it is brand new. The town is trying to stay relevant. It's trying to stay, or to say to people that, you know, please come downtown, come to, you know, the few businesses that are there. But the crepe myrtle really is what drew me to this. I don't know, I'll move on from that. It's kind of weird not being able to show everybody the large image, but.
And then people will be more curious to see the book.
Yes, exactly, definitely. And of course, these aren't an image aren't in order in the book, so you have to excuse me a little bit. Oh, It's the very next one. Lucky me. I entitled this one Tires. It's a used tire shop in Wagner, South Carolina. What I found interesting about this image or about this place was as I walked up, it didn't seem to be an open business. It didn't seem to be operating. It was very much like it became somewhere where somebody still owns the property but just dumps tires. But as I've gone back and we actually travel through Wagner on a relatively often. This actually is in business. All of these tires in this pile. Yay! Thank you. All of these are for sale. But what really drew me to this and what I really like about a lot of the businesses and a lot of the places that you can come across is, there are these vibrant colors that are there, but they're a little bit dirty. They're a little bit dingy. Whether they don't have the time, whether they don't have the money, I don't know, to clean everything every once in a while. But I mean, the chair here is this beautiful kind of turquoise blue. But even though it's tattered, it's torn, at least to me, it just looks like a comforting place. It looks like somewhere where you could just come, take a load off, sit down, and relax. And to me, that's a lot of what, growing up in the South, we end up doing. We sit on chairs on the porch. We sit on chairs, park benches, just to pass time. I ran into people while doing this project over a 5-year period. I would meet people just sitting on their front porches, passing time and talk to them and ask me what I'm doing, because it's definitely a curiosity when somebody rolls into town with a camera. Most people are not used to that. Okay. Yeah, hopefully this will move on properly now. Okay. And speaking of chairs, this is entitled A Chair in a town called North, South Carolina. As I was saying, it's not unusual to see not only park benches, but random groups of chairs, or as this one is, a single chair sitting in the most random spot. But here, at least to me, it's obvious that somebody uses this on a regular basis. There's trash there that has definitely been left by whoever sits there, but it reminds me of other places that I've seen within these towns where a lot of times there'll be many chairs there, and that's where people go and congregate, whether it's to socialize, sometimes it's to wait for somebody to pick them up to do an odd job. A lot of times, I know in Augusta, Georgia, which is just outside of where I live, there's a spot where guys will come up and pick up trucks, and there'll be people sitting there, and it's a for hire. I need 5 guys to help me for the day, pay you cash, untaxed. But what's interesting to me about this is just this chair to me, thinking about workers who are just working job to job, it symbolizes a little bit of hope. And with the church in the background, there's also that hope and that connectivity, and the way that the sidewalk kind of moves over and draws you back to that church. And religion is a very big thing in the Southeast. There are churches everywhere. I don't really know how to transition, so I'll just move on to the next one. I apologize, I'm not not the best public speaker, but this one is out of order, but that's okay. And I can't find the card for it, so I'm pretty sure this is called pickup. The pickup truck is a very iconic vehicle in the South. I was really shocked when we flew into Venice. I actually could see one in the parking lot, and it's the first pickup truck I've ever seen in Italy. So it was kind of cool to see something that looked like home. But what really kind of originally drew me to this photograph was this color green is used in the Forestry Service. And this was an old Forestry Service pickup truck. And the area where this is a town called McCormick, South Carolina. The area where this is, there is a lot of forestry, national forest where they do a lot of logging, which kind of helps out these communities. But what helps this community out, and you can see in the background, it doesn't look that run down. It's actually got a very nice main street. But the interesting thing is, not all of these buildings are occupied. The hardware store that's right here is, and I believe there's a cafe next to it, but if you turn around the corner, there's nothing. But what helps it out is it's along a main route that's between two good economic hubs. So they're able to at least keep the infrastructure up and keep it running, whereas a lot of other towns, the buildings are almost completely empty. And by completely empty, I mean walls are gone, roofs are gone, they've been neglected. And there are a few in the book that are very blatantly obvious that you'll see that. But McCormick's an interesting town because I had spoken about the railroads. The way McCormick got started was actually gold was found in this area, and I didn't even know about it. I've lived near McCormick most of my life and had no idea that there was actually a gold rush in South Carolina, and that is why McCormick even exists. But we will move on to... Here we go. Okay, that was the next card I had. This is handicapped. I like to infuse humor when I can. And to me, this is one that, it's not very obvious, but this is very much indicative of a lot of murals that you'll see that have been popping up in the South. And especially in small towns where you're trying to get people coming through. This is another peach farming community. And what I found interesting about this, I call it a mural because the entire wall is painted yellow, but this figure is the only one that's painted there, and I thought maybe it was unfinished. But I went past it about 2 years later, and it's still just this gentleman, and he is about this tall. So he's not life-size, but I find it kind of funny that he's got his cane, and there's the handicap parking, and I enjoy playing with lines, and so this ladder coming through this perfect grid was something that I try to play with. I try to play with lines. I try to play with light. I don't know where I am on time. We have a few minutes. Okay, I'll just move on. This one is car wash bike. I came across this in a small town called Joanna. You see a lot of self-service car washes in almost every town. But this one is definitely light, shadow, like I was talking about, hard lines, but the little bit of the bike tire in there to kind of soften it up. Just that little bit of play. And if you're able to actually look at the book, it's not very obvious in the slide, but there's also a little bit of a power line that kind of, the curve mirrors the bike. And and it's, you know, it's fun to go to these places and find things that, find the beauty that most people driving through would not normally think about, come across. I talked to somebody one day who asked me why I was there, and I told him what I was doing, and he looked at me and said, "That's the coolest thing I've ever heard." Mm-hmm. I never knew why anybody would even think about coming to this town. So I'm glad that it at least makes people happy and enjoy the fact that these images exist. I can't seem to get it to, there we go. And this is the final image in the book. Yeah, I don't normally want to spoil anything for anybody, but again, it goes back to the murals. It goes back to my sense of humor, because, you know, Gone with the Wind is this iconic 4-hour movie about the South, but 140 years ago, or 140 plus. And people really hold on to it, and people really grab onto it as part of their history. But I think what's interesting is we've all kind of moved on. The building, this open space in this parking lot, there was a building there, and it's gone with the wind. But there's a light here that is still on. It still shines and it still burns. And to me, that's what all these towns do. They still live, and the light's still on, and they keep moving. And thank you for bearing with me and talking about some of these images.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Thank you for this, for bringing us all together in the South. It has been a nice travel. And also for showing us something that is perfectly fitting with the topic of time, space, and existence. So I think that after we have the cocktail, and if somebody wants to know more about the project, I think you're happy to reply and to discuss about the project. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Prego. So let's pass to the second project. This is an editorial project that we created for the first time. Before talking about this, I would just briefly like to introduce what we do with photography here in Venice. I see that there are some of the participating photographers here, so thank you for joining us. The photography section has been created in 2016 with the Architecture Biennale. And the idea at the base of this project was to give more space to photography and to highlight this medium, because in the end, when we see a building, or we go and see the building in person, but the only other way to see it is through a photo. So it's very important for us to spotlight photography either in architecture and then, of course, also in the art exhibition. Since that year, we try to improve our section with initiatives and with projects such as conferences, symposia, launch of books, as you saw, but also with partnership with institution and association and foundation from all over the world. This year, we started for the first time with another project, which is an editorial project. And I remember when we were discussing what to do for this 2020 at the beginning, then 2021 exhibition. I was with Lucia, and and we were there trying to understand what can we give back to the photographers that decide to participate in the exhibition and to cooperate. How can we not only enlarge the network, but give something back to them? And so we decided to create the first publication. So the aim of this publication is to, let's say, reinterpret the work of the photographer participating in this exhibition in what we think and we consider in an innovative and personal way. I want to thank, I think I have this one. I want to thank, of course, all the photographers participating in the exhibition. The team that worked with me, so Berenice Freitag, she's not here, but she's following us online. And Suzanne, because they contribute to create the project and the concept, and they worked hard with me. And then Caterina, because she also had an overview on everything, and she was with us since the beginning. And also because she's the one editing the texts and make the book understandable for everyone. And then, of course, Miguel Núñez, who is our graphic designer, which is basically the writer, what we consider writer. So really, all what you can see is made by him. Then Angelo Maggi, he's a special contributor, and he's a professor at UOF, specialized in architecture and photography. And I think this essay is adding to this work a lot of professionality, and it's very important for us to have this cooperation. And Urbanautica, the editorial company, and the media partner, World Architect. So I would like to leave Suzanne explain briefly the concept of the book, and then I invite you to have a look. We have a few copies, and we can discuss with an aperitivo later.
Thank you, Elena. So, thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We are very proud to present this project, and it's been a true pleasure for me to be part of it. So thank you, Elena, for involving me. So the first thing Elena said to me about this book is that we had to find a way of talking about the photographers in the exhibition by finding something that connected them together. So trying to find a definition of their work that could be understandable and, let's say, that could identify all of them together. And so we thought about dimensionality. So the fact that each photographer who is capturing a 3D object, such as architecture, such as a building, is actually transforming it in something bidimensional, which is a photography. And so we thought, okay, but then it's missing something. It's missing one of its dimensions. So how can we talk about this third dimension, which is missing, with a bidimensional object, which is a photography on a page? And so we were inspired by Auger, so thinking about place and non-place, so what defines a place as such, and Flatlandia, which is an interesting book by Abbott. I don't know if anybody knows about it, but it's very interesting because it talks about a world which is completely flat, so everything there is bidimensional. And this book really inspired us to think about how we perceive the dimensionality we live in. And so we thought of creating a third dimension. So we discussed this together. We were helped by some wine. We shouldn't say that out loud, but it's very useful when you have to do some creative work. And we understood that what we were creating together with Miguel and Caterina and Berenice was a dimension which was visual. So we created a dialogue between these pictures, and we created a narration through the pictures. And so this is why we decided to call this new dimension a narrative dimension, because it's not a dimension which is physical, but it's a dimension made of words, of a new language. And those words are the photographies that our photographers sent us. And so we hope we managed to do this. We look forward to hear also the feedback of the people leafing through it. Maybe we can see something about the book. So the thing we did was to find a way of connecting photographies together. And each of us actually had their own explanation of how they were related to each other. So for example, we see, this is, I think, one of our favorites among the couples. So here we can see the shadow of a staircase and a staircase on the other picture. So, okay, one would think the first connection between the two is the staircase. But it's not only that, because it's also a question of shape, of emptiness and fullness. It's a question of colors. Even though it's black and white, you can definitely see there is a contrast there. And it was really funny to see how each one of us, with our different backgrounds and perception, could find a different narrative for each one of these couples. And this is why what we say at the end of our essay is that actually this book has one protagonist, which is the reader, because each one of us, each one of you reading it, will find his own version of the narrative dimension that we created. So here we can see some of the examples. So this is all I wanted to say. So now I leave the word to Caterina, who, as Elena said, helped us in making our words understandable to everyone and translating as well, and Miguel, who is actually the puppet master behind this work, and this is why we also wanted Miguel to be involved in the essay part, because we believed that it was really important to. Usually, the graphic designer stays behind a book, even though it's all over the place, and we thought it was important also to have a dialogue with Miguel during the essay as well. So, you don't.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. It is really nice to present this work here with you today. So I can give you some feedback from maybe the behind-the-scenes stories. So it was a very interesting journey because starting from photos, it came to words, then came back to photos again, and then the visual narrative that it was created basically by Miguel. So it was a journey that was exchanging, let's say, and taking many different shapes. A very, very enjoying part that I must say, I think for everyone, it was while exactly putting the words into pictures, creating this sequence, if we can call it as such, and introducing our own story, we could say. So each of us was trying to select pictures and making copies of them that would make sense in a more obvious way in the beginning, trying to see visual elements, maybe something from more obvious shapes and lines, and then making some steps ahead, turning it to matching pictures that were not really obviously matching, but then again, if you would go further, each one in a different way, finding different connotations between them in a more semiotic way. So I will not spoil much, but you can find many examples in the book. And then again, for sure, each one individually had a different perspective, a different presupposition, but then it was Miguel that was making it make sense, because in the end it needed to make sense at some point, and take all these pictures and introduce a narrative that would start from one point, make a scale up, and then have an end or to be continued, who knows. So you can share maybe some more on that. You are the one.
Thank you. Well, to start, I'm very thankful for being able to participate in this project. It was really funny, and it was really interesting also to work with the work of many talented photographers. We have to say, it was really pleasing to have those photographs in the hands. And as Elena has said, it was all about creating a sense out of a bunch of photographers and a bunch of photographies that were not linked between them. The only link was architecture photography, but they have very different approaches. And we have created this dialogue, those double pages are usually two photographs, We put everything in black and white to kind of focus on the structures more than the colors, and to make them dialogue, creating many different layers that one can read in different senses. We wanted to leave it open, so it's a book that you can navigate in different ways. And just to talk about the physical book, because for me it's important when creating a book and designing it, that the book is something more than putting together all the pages, in a sense that it couldn't be a PDF. You have to have it like physically with you, that it have a sense of, it has connections. You use like the physicality. This was the main concept, no? Going from the two-dimensional image to the three-dimensional buildings to the two-dimensional image, and then putting it back together in the book that is a three-dimensional object. So, for example, in this double page, you can see like the physicality of the object is interacting with the two-dimensional image and with the building. So we close the circle, and the book itself is designed, I hope, in a way that talks about dimensionality. Like the cover stays flat and articulates in 3 dimensions, so it's everything about this concept. The ND dimension, that is the title, goes inside and out and takes you through the book. We made like the text part black, so it could be like easily find when you have it in your hands, and all the texts are designed in another sense. So when you are like reading the book, you yourself have to change the dimension. Let's say one is the visual dimension and the intellectual or text dimension, and I think you have to handle in your hands because it's a book, and I hope to have reached this class of something that is more than all what that is inside together, and propose something else in its physicality. And that's it.
If I can add something to that, during the selection of the photos, maybe we should also mention this. The matches that were made, that were not, let's say, the initial photos. So some photos remained the same for serving the purpose of the meaning. But then again, some photos are cut or we created a focus on an element that, according to our vision, exactly, for different reasons, was serving the purpose of the narrative. So it was also a very tricky point that needed quite some imagination as well.
And then you have like the cropped images that we have played with, and at the end of the book you have like the catalog part in which you can see it full color, to also be able to see how they dialogue and how they stay alone. Mm-hmm. That's it for my part.
A glimpse of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this beautiful presentation of the book. Perhaps you can add that it was printed locally with the Grafiche Veneziane, as all our catalogs and books. We try to stay as local as possible. And now let's start with the ECC Awards. We continue with the first award, which is for the best art project in our exhibition. And I invite my colleagues to come to the stage. The ECC Award consists of an artwork by the Dutch artist René Rietmeyer. This is the artwork. The title of this artwork is 1 Meter Red. And René Rettmeyer is the initiator of this project and of the European Cultural Center. So, art projects in our architecture exhibition are really important. We continue to believe that it's essential to create a dialogue across disciplines among different professionals. So we invite every 2 years not only architects and designers, but also several artists, photographers, and sculptors. And today is a pleasure to present the winner. Prego, ragazze.
Thank you, Rachele, for introducing us, and thank you for being here. But a great thank you to David Jacobson. David, let's give a round of applause. So we started our communication years and years ago, back in the days in 2019. So many things happened. The pandemic started, we had the COVID, we postponed the exhibition. Many things happened, but now we are here together to celebrate the end of this exhibition. And it's my pleasure to tell you why we decided to award it Earthlang. So why we decided to award David's installation Earthlang? For the way in which he responded to the urgency of the pandemic and climate crisis with an ironic and dramatic approach. Earthlang is an emblematic installation that raises awareness on our relationship with nature and on our behaviors towards it. It is a powerful project that is capable of reaching and involving different publics. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
A 1 meter.
1 meter. Yes.
If you want to say something.
Thank you. I'll be as brief as I possibly can. I don't know if you know the book, A Brief History of Time, by Richard Hawkins. Richard Hawkins?
Stephen.
See what happens when you put your microphone on. I went to the exhibition for the last time, and suddenly thought it was a bit like a brief history of time, because it started off with the Department of della, and that was closed down because of COVID. I was then asked if I would do something in response to COVID in the garden, and I came up with the idea of Earthlang. And then, of course, the Biennale happened again, and so Earthlang remained in the space of the Biennale. So Earthlang was a very, very easy conclusion to come to about what I should do for the exhibition. special occupation. Many people walk through the garden and say they never saw that garden. But you have to stop to watch. You have to watch the earth moving in order to really appreciate what is going on. I'm very fortunate that everyone is moving to Germany next year. And much of I wouldn't be like it to stay permanently in the German Marinaressa if they were interested. So I just want to say this. First of all, thank you very, very much to the avatar, to this wonderful lady here beside me, Victoria. I say that's to my wife, who's always very, very, very supportive of everything that I do. Sorry, could you hear? Yeah. How unlucky for you. And I want to say a very, very special thank you to Alessandra Valle, who, because of the nature of the way things work, Ale is now my assistant. And without her, none of what has happened would have been possible. She has been absolutely marvelous in helping me, as have all of the others. I really appreciate what ECC does. I really appreciate my red meter. I don't quite know what to make of a red meter, but no doubt it will take pride of place in the work that I have at my house. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for your time. And you've got one more day to go to the exhibition if you haven't seen the work. And if you get to Earthlang, stop and look and think. And just think about the fact that what we all need to do is really concentrate on this abuse of water that's going on, because the foundation stone, we've always had climate change, it always happens. This is the first time that one of the species is responsible for exacerbating the problem, and that's us. We have a responsibility. We need to do something about this. It's very, very important. Thank you very much indeed for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. And now we proceed with the special mentions.
Okay, so we have two special mentions for this section. And I would like to introduce Sofia Ferzbolovskis, which is difficult to pronounce. She's not here, luckily, but she sent us a video. So she's a photographer, and we decided to give her this special mention for making us see how the shapes of architecture can be universal. Through her photography, she highlighted the connection that architecture can create across cultures and countries, conceiving her project as proof of the fusion between time and space. Thanks to her gaze, we have been able to appreciate recurring aesthetic elements and the way in which individuals interact with them.
Go to Karen McCoy. She's not here, but I'm sure she's watching us. Karen McCoy is awarded with the special mention for attention on the relationship between human and natural activity, perfectly represented in her installation Floating Garden and in her participatory workshop, which raised ecological, cultural, and political consciousness and showed that through simple everyday actions, we all together have the power to change the world into a better place.
I don't know if you could start the video by the two
Hello,
artists.
ECC and friends. I'm so happy that Giardini Galleggiante per Venezia has won special recognition as an installation. Thank you for that. I want to say what an incredible experience it was.
Hi everyone, this is Sofia Verbolovskis. I want to thank you so much for this special mention award in the art installation category. I'm thrilled and honored to have exhibited in this year's Time-Space Existence, and I really want to thank the ECC for all their incredible work in putting this exhibition together. I was able to go to Venice twice to see the exhibit, and both times I was blown away by the quality of the work that I saw. So I really want to say congratulations to everyone, and I hope I can meet some of you in the near future. Bye.
Hello, ECC and friends. I'm so happy that Giardini, Galleggiante per Venezia has won special recognition as an installation. Thank you for that. I want to say what an incredible experience it was to build the sculpture there in the Giardini and to find all the materials in the locale, sometimes as far away as Viterbo or Cuneo, but often very close at hand in the Laguna. So thank you so much for a wonderful experience. I'm happy to see that the community is having a bite of parsley now and then. Happy holidays, everyone. Thanks again. I'm happy to see that the community is having a bite of parsley now and then. Happy holidays, everyone. Thanks again. Hello, ECC.
Questo è difficile probabilmente. No. Okay. Perhaps we will show it later. Let's proceed with the second award. And this is for the best university project in our exhibition. So I will ask my colleagues, Adi and Ilaria, to present it.
Thank you very much, Rachele, for presenting us. We are very happy to have you here today. Apologies for the technical difficulties. You know, it happens all the time, so apologies for that. So without further ado, I will give it to my colleague Ilaria to tell us who won the best university project for this year.
Thank you very much, Adi, and good afternoon to everyone. As you can imagine, it was very difficult to find the university who won the award this year.
Because, yes, it was very difficult to find the university who won the award this year because we have around 50 really valuable universities between Palazzo Mora and Palazzo Bembo and the Giardini della Marinaressa. But finally we decided to give the award to a university from Germany, TU Darmstadt, who did a special project related to the use of paper. And so, yes, basically the reason why we gave this special award to this university is for the project Building with Paper. This is a project that presents a remarkable imaginative ability in developing new solutions in the construction process. And for the stunning intervention TU Darmstadt created in dialogue with the room, appreciated by all the visitors of Palazzo Mora with enthusiastic feedback. So I invite you all to visit this room because it's a great installation at the first floor of Palazzo Mora. Thank you. We have also, we have the video. Thank you.
Cari amici del ECC, siamo molto contenti, siamo molto orgogliosi dopo quasi un anno di lavoro intensivo di ricevere questo premio. Già è stata per noi una gratissima sorpresa e vi ringraziamo tantissimo per questo premio, anche perché la concorrenza non era diciamo semplicissimo da vincere. Ci ha riempito molto di grande orgoglio e vi ringraziamo tanto di cuore. Qui vedete tutto l'equipe, tutto il team che ha lavorato in questa mostra, nella realizzazione di questo spazio. Io sono un po' il vecchio sulla montagna, il nonno di Heidi, che cerca di tenere questo gruppo assieme e motivarlo, ma voglio dire veramente che il grosso merito per questo lavoro cioè, deve darsi a questi giovani che hanno lavorato in questa maniera. Grazie tante a tutti. Fabian?
In diesem Sinne, im Englischen oder im Deutschen, vielen Dank ECC. Es war ein tolles Format, es war ein tolles Team. Wir danken der ECC, insbesondere auch den Besucherinnen und Besuchern, die über die Zeit hinweg unsere Ausstellung geliked haben. Wir hatten eine starke Konkurrenz und wir sind froh, dabei gewesen zu sein. Wir sehen uns im nächsten Jahr bestimmt wieder. Vielen Dank dafür.
On the behalf of the whole team of the Department of Sculptural Design, we wanted to thank the ECC for the great news that we win the award. It's a great honor and the whole team was so excited. Also, being there in live, seeing the exhibition live was a great opportunity, and now it's all topped off with the prize. Thank you very much.
Grazie!
Grazie.
Fabian and Nina and all the team that you saw, a wonderful team. And now we can go on with the special mention, because we have also special mention for the university section. And so I'm really pleased to introduce you to Belén Desmaison and all the team of Casa, Home, and in general to the Pontificia Università Cattolica del Perù and University College of London. I really thank them to bring us literally to a project in Peru and in the Amazons. And so we decided to give this special mention to these universities and to all the team for the change of perspective that this project offers. From resilient places to resilient citizens, architects and urban designers should pursue the aim of creating a sense of belonging, in relation not only to our identity as individuals, but also as communities, expanding beyond our dwellings and embracing our neighborhoods and cities. Thank you, Belén, and all the team and the universities.
Dearest team at ECC Italy, I would like to thank you on behalf of the team at CASA, Self-Sustainable Amazonian Cities, from the Catholic
Congratulations
University in
again
Peru.
to the winner and the first special mention. So now we'll move to the last special mention award at the universities section, which goes to Adrian Parr for the project of Watershed Urbanism. And this project has been highlighted and wins the special mention award for presenting pioneering design projects which respond to the challenges of how to design the built environments that incorporate the water flows and the aquatic life. So the project moves away from an anthropocentric perspective by taking into account all the living species. So for that, I invite you all to visit, if you have some time left, the project of Adrian Parr in Palazzo Bembo. It's on the first floor. We don't have a video, unfortunately, but I hope we can at least see the video of the first special mention of Belén.
Thank you, Adi, for this the special mention. And now we proceed with the Architecture Award, and Benedetta and Suzanne will be presenting.
Thank you, Rachele, for the introduction, and thank you all for being here today. And it was not easy to find a winner among all these beautiful presentations, but with great pleasure we announced that the winning award for the architecture section goes to Nano Architecture and Interiors. the award goes for highlighting through their project the immediate goal action needed to cope with the climate crisis, and for their focus on two liminal cities such as Venice and New Orleans, two geographically distant areas which are linked by an exclusive relationship with water, and that remain resilient by embracing their unique identity, both on a cultural and topographic level. So,
yeah, perhaps.
Unfortunately,
yes.
Okay.
No.
Holy tamale.
Perhaps
Thank
we
you so
move
much,
with
ECC. We are honored and humbled to have received the ECC Time Space Existence Architecture Award. Without a shadow of a doubt, although Ian is not here today, this has been one of the greatest experiences that Nano has achieved since its culmination 20 years ago. A small shout out to some of our important sponsors, namely Greg Keller, the Louisiana Economic Development Corporation, Ruth and Laney Schwest, and most importantly, the Mardi Gras Indians, allowing us to share their culture and time with us. And in closing, as the only architecture firm in the state of Louisiana to have ever been asked to exhibit at the ECC, I say, we say.
Thank you, ECC.
Thank you and congratulations again, Nano team. You're all welcome to see their presentation here in Palazzo Mora afterwards. And then we move to the special mentions, and we have 3 special mentions for this edition. The first goes to Enriquet's Partner Architects for their project Ghetto, which highlights and explains in depth the meaning of the architect's role in our contemporary society, the relevance of the architect in imagining new solutions for the development of more inclusive and sustainable places through the consideration of urban issues and opportunities that are significant to all major international cities. Congratulations.
I just want to say how honored we are to be part of the European Cultural Center's exhibit during the Venice Biennale, and even more honored to win a special mention award in the architecture category. It has been a very meaningful experience for us in our studio, and we just want to say how grateful we are to be a part of this important
Proceed
exhibition.
then with the following special mentions. We have 3 for architecture. So the second special mention goes to Lucila Aguilar Arquitectos for her creativity and advocacy in presenting an audiovisual experience that highlights the importance of bamboo as a construction material. For focusing on the structural and ecological value of bamboo and on how this material relates with a conscious responsibility towards the future, with a special attention on our country, which is Mexico. So we would like to thank Lucila Aguilar Arquitectos to being part of this exhibition.
We were honored and thrilled to receive a special mention. We want to thank the ECC team for making this possible, and we send our regards.
To have you here, so if you would like to say something
for Lucila.
Thank you. My name is Marco Coelho. I'm an architect, and I'm a friend and collaborator with Lucila. And she designed this beautiful pavilion for Design Week Mexico 2020, last year. I organized Design Week Mexico for 13 years now. It's a non-for-profit organization that promotes architecture and design in Mexico. So on behalf of Lucila, thank you very much. Grazie mille. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Grazie.
And so the third special mention goes to Malgebart Concepte.
Perhaps Sonia is
and
here.
yes, we have Sonia here, Sonia Weber, if you would like to join us. So the reason we decided to give a special mention award to Malgebart Concepte is for the ability to communicate through an immersive video projection the experience of spending a day in another space, together with their attention on crucial themes such as sustainability and biodiversity, and the keen eye the studio has on the importance of the landscape, on its fauna and flora, underlining the need to change from dense development to open landscapes as a model for the future. So thank you, Sonia, for being here. If you would like to say something about this.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for being here. I think the whole exhibition, Time, Space, Existence, and our contribution, Baumkirchen Munich, shows really clearly that it is us, our profession of architects, landscape architects, designers, that it is us to change or to create new approaches to solutions. And so it's I'm here for the office Malgebhardt Konzepte. I'm really happy to accept the prize of special mention in the field of architecture on behalf of Andrea and Hannes of the office and the whole team Malgebhardt Konzepte. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sonia. Thank you. It was a pleasure. And now we move on to the design innovation section.
Yes. So now we move to the last category, which is also a new category from the ECC Award. I also like to share that for all the short videos that we had not the chance to see today, or they had some little problems, we are also going to be able to see them through our Instagram channels later on. So don't worry about it; they're not lost. So you will see them online later. So for the design innovation section, we are very happy to give the award to ETH Zurich Block Research Group and Zaadid Architects Computation and Design Group, Zaacode, with Incremental 3D and AllSim, with the project Striatus. The prize is given for proposing through the installation Striatus an alternative to traditional concrete constructions that achieves strength and stability through geometry, and by using cutting-edge technology and optimizing the properties of masonry structures with 3D concrete printing and contemporary design. So congratulations to... No video, I guess, so we'll see them later on. We also have two special mentions for the design innovation category. So we are also happy to have the participants here with us, some of them. So I kindly invite Anna Goidea here with me. So the first special mention for the design innovation category goes to Anna Goidea and David Andrin from the Biodigital Matter Lab at Lodz University. Welcome, Hannah. The special mention is given for showing the potential which can be derived by the combination of nature and digital technology, and for underlying how the principles of biology can enable an innovative use of new materials that interact and collaborate with living agents and have the power to enrich the biodiversity of our city. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much for this. This is wonderful. I'm really happy, and I'm sure David is happy as well for it. I want to thank Mariana Popescu that we collaborated on the wall for the textile CNC knitting, and Dimitrios Flodas that we collaborated for the biology, microbiology development for the other project. And yes, Voxeljet for sponsoring the production of the wall, and Sandheldel for the support. So yes, but also thank you so much for the ECC team, and it's been wonderful to be part of this project and this exhibition, and yeah, I think you've done wonderful work, so thank you for inviting us and having us.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you. So for the second and last special mention for this category, we have here, I hope, in this room, two of the team members from Love, Architecture and Urbanism. So we have here Eric Klein-Appel and Maria Sommer. Oh, Edwig. No. Congratulations. So
The special mention is given for the artistic and creative approach to the design of the installation N126, for their innovative use of ceramic and for enhancing the visitor's experience through technology with the projection by Orcio Risotto, and for electroacoustic background by sound designer Joseph Grundler. The balance between concept, material, design and technology has been very much appreciated by our visitors from all over the world. So congratulations.
Many thanks to ECC. It's a great surprise for me because we came here to Venice to remove the object and to bring it home again. And many thanks to our partners and to Laufen, who made the technical support, and to Orcio Risotto for sound and Giuseppe for the visuals. It's around. Okay, many thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lucia. And before having an aperitivo all together with a Prosecco, we take the chance, this opportunity to inform you about the upcoming activities of ECC. We will be in the States soon, starting from the end of this month, for two main events. One is will be in Miami, where we inaugurate an exhibition in collaboration with ECC US, and we also will be at the Miami Art Week with the art team of ECC Italy. So we will have two exhibitions there. One is an exhibition for Denise Scott-Brown, and the other one is a combination of projects developed in collaboration with previous participants of this exhibition, Time Space Existence. In Chicago, we will, together with the CAB, with the Chicago Architecture Biennial, we are really proud to present the third edition of Shaping the City Symposium with a new lineup of speakers. We will be there on December 10. And so follow us on our social to stay updated. You will find a lot of information soon. And here, Sarah. Perhaps Sarah wants to say something about the art exhibition that we will inaugurate next year.
Very short. I am Sarah. I've been working since 1 year and a half with a beautiful team, Claudia, Michaela, that is not here present, but with all the people that you already seen that presented the awards, on the next year art exhibition with the title Personal Structures. So we believe that will be a very special edition because of also of the special time that we are like all living, and we have experienced since 2 years. So we are receiving very beautiful projects, very interesting and inspiring. So I hope that you will have the chance to come next year to be like inspired from this project and create a discussion and a dialogue starting from our exhibition and share experience and also attending activities that we will organize and host in our exhibition venue. So we welcome you for next year. The opening of the exhibition will be the 23rd of April, with the 21st and 22nd, the opening event in the venues of Palazzo Bembo, Palazzo Mora and Marinaressa Gardens. So I hope to see you next year.
Thank you. Grazie. Abbiamo un prosecco per tutti. Se vuoi dire qualcosa.
Before closing, we like to remind you that it's true the exhibition closes to the audience today, but the virtual tours of all our exhibits are available online. So you still have the chance to see again, visit us again, and for those that had no chance to visit us in Venice, to experience that for the first time. So thank you very much for being with us today. Thanks again to the entire ECC team for helping us and pulling it off. And we are happy to invite you for a glass of Prosecco now. So thanks again, and see you next year.
Bye. Ciao.